Hey guys, welcome to episode 3, and in this one we're going to learn about a little more about how to set up your scene, basically. You know, just a few tips on how to make it look a little bit more professional and whatnot. Right, now I'm well aware that not everyone is going to have one of these, but yeah, basically all this thing is just to provide a white background. I mean, you can easily do this with like a washing rack or washing line kind of thing, with a white blanket behind it. You know, generally what I tend to try to do is either put a white background or a blue, a light blue background, because with the white and the blue and all that on your camera, it'll appear like it's sky or something like that. It just makes it look a little bit more professional than seeing carpet and your cat walking behind and whatnot. But yeah, you can do the exact same thing with just something to hold up a white blanket or blue blanket or whatever. Or you could, if you get like a box or some kind of, or your Warhammer case, for instance. You get your Warhammer case, sellotape some bits of white paper to it. Oh, sorry, bless me. Yeah, sellotape just a few bits of white paper to it, or white card to it, make a trail down. Over, if you've got grass or something like that, right, you can put that down to cover the floor, or just have a white floor and all that, right? And another thing as well, lighting is key with anything you do in filming. I mean, right now I've got my softbox kind of light up here, illuminating everything, but literally you could do it with anything. It doesn't have to be a white light either. It could be any kind of light, as long as it's bright enough, and don't over illuminate them, because one thing you don't want to do is have a light overhead and it makes each one cast so many dark shadows that it's ridiculous. What you want is you want your camera, about by here. Make sure they're in focus and whatnot, and then you either want your light. If you only got one light, you want it coming from behind the camera and slightly raised up. You want to reduce the shadows coming from behind the model you do. So basically at a 45-degree angle, so where you got your camera here, right, so if I put him there, you got your camera here, you want your light somewhere here, coming down at him. However, if you want to be a little bit more professional about it, you can always go the 2 or 3 light method, in which you have one big bright light pointed at the whole scene, at the white, so it reflects down, and then you have one light on this side coming down at the floor at the models, and another light coming down here at the other side of the models. Naturally, this is going to take up a fair bit of room, but and you must also make sure that it's diffused light. Diffused light is basically where you have the light shining through something like one of these or something, or even just a piece of A4 paper, as always, be careful, because if the light gets hot, it will end up catching fire if you use paper, or melting whatever you're using. So be careful in that sense. But yeah, you can pretty much get pretty good light. It doesn't have to be a softbox light, because like I said, this is mostly for my green screening, so I kind of need it. But you can use pretty much anything, it doesn't have to be a white light. You can get white bulbs, anything like that. So, but lighting is key for, for any kind of filming or photography. Anyone will tell you that. But anyway, right, so yeah, we got our scene. Like I said, with that, it's easy to DIY that yourself. Also, it also makes it look a bit more professional. We got our little outpost here. Like I said, nothing particularly insane and whatnot. Yeah, we got Huron here. He's about to go up there, and naturally I can't really show you the process of it because I'm using the camera. I don't have my newer camera yet that I'm planning on getting. So what we'll probably do is I'll most likely shut off the camera, do that, and then we'll go on to the next video. But yeah, a few more things about this. With your camera, when you're filming stop motion, it always helps that it's either on a fixed base, like a tripod or something, or at least you put something weighted on it to keep it still. But So for instance, if you're using a tripod and it's not particularly a particularly heavy one or expensive one like mine, try and put something on there that will weigh it down to keep it on the floor, because that's one of the main killers of stop motion is when the camera moves. You know, unless you want your camera to move along with a model, but when it's just meant to be a normal scene of just a model doing a movement like turning around or walking across, if your camera moves, it will kind of ruin it. You know. So yeah, basically you want to try and keep your camera as steady as possible. Never hold your camera by hand when you're doing stop motion. Never, because it will never, that will be shaky as hell, that will. And another thing is always handy, if possible, get a you know, if your camera can have remotes like one of these, I know I said this in one of my other videos, but I highly recommend you get one of these. You know, it's a little Sony remote thing on it. But if your camera can't have one of these, it doesn't matter, you can still push the button, you know, just be very careful you don't move your camera at all, and make sure it's on a weighted you know, stabilizer or tripod or whatever. If you're using a webcam, that actually might make it easier, because if your webcam is if it's an external webcam and it's not attached to your laptop or computer or something, that'll make it easier, because you can just put your camera down, and then you can obviously you can control the photos from the laptop, which will make things easier. You know. Oh, and another thing as well, referring to the lighting, it doesn't matter if you have a HD camera, or, you know, it does not even matter if it's a particularly good camera at all. You know, lighting will make all the difference in your camera, because the thing with standard definition cameras is they don't have very good low light sensitivity, or they're just not very good in low light at all. If provided you light up your scene a lot, and I'll actually show you an example, you know, somewhere on, you know, over this now. I'll just do voiceover for it. If you look at one of my old cameras, you know, this is some footage from my old camera that I had before this one. It was an SD camera. It was my first ever camcorder, you know, bought from Amazon and whatnot. And if you look at it, it was absolutely abysmal in low light and whatnot. And that wasn't even low light. That was just my house. I was just lit up with the house lights and whatnot, and it just didn't do it at all. But then, if you look at this now, when I took it into my room and I was going to close off the, you know, example on my video, you presented the camera and whatnot, saying what I thought about it, I noticed that I couldn't really see myself in it because the low light sensitivity was crap. And then when I turned my desk lamp on and pointed it at my face, you look then, and my face comes in sharper. So, you know, lighting is key once again. I know I'm saying that too much, but everyone will say that, right? If it's standard def, lighting is even more crucial then. You must make sure you have enough light to illuminate your scene and whatnot, that it will actually pick it up. So that's the one thing I cannot stress enough. You know, lighting is key. As I said again, doesn't matter what camera you have. If you have a crappy standard def webcam, that'll do, because even if the frame rate isn't very good on it, it doesn't matter, because you're not shooting video, you're shooting still photos. And also the whole laptop thing, where if you have an external camera in a laptop, that'll help, because you can take it around with you, and you can just, you know, press spacebar or something to take the photo, or enter or whatnot. Anyway, so that's basically it. You know, that's all it takes really to set up a scene. Make sure you have a uniform background, you know, white or blue or any colour you want, even black, you know, that'll work as well. Just make sure, you know, if you're trying to be serious, you know, with a scene, try not to have, you know, a background looking at, say, it can be a blank wall easily, but try not to make it looking at like the bottom of a cabinet or something. And also another thing, it helps to keep your privacy, you know, because right now, you know, behind this scene, you know, I got family photos and all that, and I don't really want people seeing them, you know, so that's another reason as well. So, you know, make sure you have, so, yeah, a few points right there, right? So, uniform background, you know, make sure it's all one colour, makes it look more professional. You know, white, blue and black are the best ones in my opinion, but you can use other ones as well. Make sure you know, oh, another thing as well, whatever your models are on top of, make sure it's not too uneven, you know. I mean, right now this is kind of uneven because I folded the mat over and it's kind of soft and whatnot, so that But one of the problems you might have with walking animations on soft kind of stuff is that you move him along, everything's all nice, and then all of a sudden he hits a ripple, and he's like, he's only like, yeah, right there. See, he won't. There's a few places in which they won't stand up. So the best thing to do is make sure it's on a nice, hard, flat, even surface. Lay it out flat, and make sure it's an even surface. Don't do it on your bed or nothing like that, because that won't work at all. I've tried. But yeah, so make sure a single uniform background, a nice flat even surface to put the models on. Lighting is everything. Make sure it's well lit, evenly and whatnot. And also make sure you have a method or a means to take the still images without having to move your camera, right? If at all possible, don't go splurging money out for this. I mean, now, but if at all possible, try and do it so you don't actually have to touch your camera each time you want to take a photo, because that's the way I used to do it, and my tripod didn't hold the camera still enough. And the worst thing with mine is the button to take the photos is on the very back of the camera, up on top. So when I push down there, the camera would tilt up slightly. But if your camera has the option, get an external remote. Don't go spending loads of money on it, because let's face it, I'm not making any money on this, but I'm a perfectionist. I love doing this. I want to make it look professional and whatnot. But yeah, lighting will make your videos look way more professional. Trust me on this, and also the white background as well, and also no jittery camera. So that would be the best thing to do, right? Because I think everyone has a webcam these days. I'm pretty sure you can pick up a cheap webcam for about £10, or so like £10, $20, whatever, and hook it up to your laptop and use the space bar to take the photos. And obviously the webcam would be kind of easier to work with as well, because it's smaller and you can get closer down to ground level with the models then, which everyone wants. The idea is to make your models look like they're not small. The idea is to make it look like you're filming it on their level, as like one of them as a cameraman and whatnot. So there's a few tips right there. So 5 points. Let's see. Nice, even, uniform background, this one colour. Nice flat surface to work on, to do the stop motion with. Obviously, nice, even, well lit. Lighting is key and whatnot. Make sure everything is well lit, not too dark, because it won't look that great and it'll look grainy on standard def. Camera isn't everything. You can use a standard def camera and whatnot, and make sure if at all possible, try and do it without having to touch your camera. If you can't do that, then just make sure you try not to move your camera too much, and make sure it's on a nice, sturdy tripod, or a nice a stand that is fixed somewhere or something. So there's your 5 or 6 points right there for setting up your scenery. And other than that, just go nuts. Whatever your scenery is going to look like, do whatever. Naturally, if you've got a bigger scenery like the Tower of Redemption and whatnot, or whatever it's called, the Fortress of Redemption, you're going to want a bigger scene. Like for instance with Huron Does episode 5, that was done with this setup, only these by here, I put them out so it was a wall, kind of a wall thing, and I leaned them up against a wall behind them, and then I put a blue duvet over them to act as a blue screen so I could replace it for the sky. So, simple things like that. You DIY it, if at all possible. Look on YouTube, there'll be plenty of tutorials. I know I've done, this is technically meant to be a tutorial, but there's plenty of tutorials on DIYing photo booths and things like that, easy. And another thing, this setup by here, this, not the piece of paper obviously, but this photography booth was £10 on Amazon, and I think it was an extra £10 to buy 2 lights, 2 little kind of footlights to go with it, to shine through these, or to shine on it. And what you get in in this pack by here is you get the box obviously, and it folds up into a flat kind of case thing as well. It all is the case. You get this you get the box, you get a white kind of background thing, and then you also get these. Sorry, Huron. And then you also get these 3 other colours. You get the blue one, you get the red one, you get the black one, and all for £10, £20 with the lights. So there you go, right there. So it's really inexpensive to do this. You don't really need a mat. You can use the tabletop surface, obviously, but it's kind of more professional to do it in another way. So get like a white tablecloth or green or blue tablecloth or something. That'll do just as fine. So yeah, so that was the tutorial on setting up the scene. I'm gonna turn the camera off now so I can film this scene, so we can move on to the editing and computer parts of it. Then the next video is going to be on how to go about doing voiceovers and recording your voice, and also I'm going to teach you how to do the Huron Does voice as well, and the Space Marine effect with a kind of kind of like a vox kind of sound that I use. So look out for that now. That'll be tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative. I hope it helped you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on any of the previous videos and this one. And see you in the next video. Happy war game. No, I can't nick their thing. Oh, I gotta come up with my own thing. Hope you enjoyed them. Good luck with your videos.